There were so many impossibilities in this game that it's hard to fathom how it all turned out the way it did. It got pretty bad for the Knicks at the end of the third as the Cavs were slowly taking control of this game, and they employed a hack-a-mitt strategy because he's such a terrible free throw shooter. And the rule is that you can't take an away from the play foul with under 2 minutes left in any quarter or overtime, or else risk one free throw and giving the ball back to the offensive team. But if you bring that player into the play, like Mike Brown inexplicably did here to screen, then he's fair game to be fouled and put in the line for 2 shots. And judging by this discussion immediately afterwards, it appears Brown either did not know the rule or thought Robinson was actually away from the play. Foster says he was part of the play, and Mike Brown says it wasn't a ball screen, he was pushing him. Now, you decide. Do you really think a non-shooting, non-dribbling big is going to wander this far above the three-point line while moving directly at the ball handler just to hang out? The moral of this story is you simply cannot have the poor free throw shooter anywhere near the ball in these situations. This was a low point for the Knicks' vibes, but somehow they completely cratered even more by the fourth quarter, at which point they literally had a 0.1 chance of winning. And out of 595 games over the past 30 seasons where a team led by 22 points this late, only one had ever lost before. So let's examine what was working well for the Cavs before we get into how it all went frightfully wrong. One key was the pass to the roll man after screening the ball. The Knicks were consistently blasting both Harden and Mitchell in these actions, and Harden easily splits the double, drops the pass off into an instant advantage, and Mitchell wisely replaces to the open area out top for the kickout, shot fake, sidestep, and splash for 3 points. It's not a bad idea to force the ball out of the hands of your opponent's primary weapon on offense, but the Cavs were prepared to exploit it as quickly as they can, as Allen's one dribble sucks 3 players to him, the kick gets one closeout, but they catch Cat behind the play as Dean Wade lights him up. Allen again uses one dribble into the middle to bring 2 defenders to him before finding one of 2 very good open shooters on the right side. A simple shot fake sidestep hop from Merrill gets him a wide open look and increases the lead to 10. It really became a question of who do you want to set a screen and pop out into open space. Schroeder played very poorly for them, but he could still take advantage of no defender on him after the double of Harden. Good job to sell the shot and then dump it off for an Allen finish. And it's Merrill again, a shooter the Knicks are terrified of leaving open, and credit to Mikal Bridges for an incredible pursuit to thwart not 1 but 2 shots by Merrill, but the Cavs never give up the advantage, and eventually enough dominoes fall until they catch Cat being too slow on his closeout to Mobley, who kicks the lead up to 8 with 3 minutes to go. They also found some success targeting Jalen Brunson. While this is a scramble, the concept is still there as Wade's handoff forces Brunson needing to switch onto the ball. He gets instantly blown by and Cat won't challenge the floater. Now they bring Brunson up into the pick and roll to attack him, and because this is a flat ball screen, Harden can pick which direction he wants to go in. Brunson guessed left, Harden goes right, and now he's got a clear runway to drop in the nice runner. For Donovan Mitchell, they bring Brunson's man up to screen, force a switch, and then just go to town on him with the isolation. Nothing too fancy, just a tween and he's into the lane, drawing Robinson to him and letting Mobley do the rest. And to seal in his practice in the third, they once again bring Brunson up to defend the ball screener, and he has 0 chance of keeping the ball in front. Beautiful move. So let's dissect how Harden became the target of 8 isolation possessions in the last 7 minutes of regulation, which yielded this nice graphic and stat from our friends at the All-NBA podcast. No one had ever given up that many points in the tracking era, which begs the question, was there anything Cavs coach Kenny Atkinson could do to help stop it? It was no secret the Cavs wanted to target old man Harden, and with a 22-point lead, the D wasn't sweating this switch too much when Harden's man sets the ball screen out top. With only one rim protector in there, it's tough for Mobley to fully rotate and hope that Mitchell can get a body on Cat under the basket. But there's not much the help can do when the primary defender lets the ball get straight to the basket this quickly. The crowd didn't know it yet, but they were about to witness one of the greatest comebacks of all time. And it would have been incredible to have been there, and the best way to do that is by using SeatGeek. They've got the tickets you're looking for to sporting events, concerts, and the theater. They've got a rating system that tells you what kind of a deal you're getting, and I use them anytime I go see the Lakers or Clippers in Los Angeles. I saw Wemby in person with a great vantage point and an even better deal because of SeatGeek. The best part, if you tell them I sent you, you'll get a special deal. Use my code BBALL2025 and save 10% off your next set of tickets. So click that link and download their app with my code and save real money on your next tickets. Still no time to panic just yet, and they now have both their bigs in to support the backline of defense. Notice how the other three Knicks have flattened to the baseline to give Brunson as much space as possible. Did Wade have to switch this? No. And this switch happens way too easily these days. But here we are, and it's officially clear that while Harden stays in front of Brunson, he has no way of influencing a miss. And more importantly, it's time to get a little worried, as there's a lot of time left and only a 12-point lead. So let's get to the part where someone is saying, "Coach, what can they do other than hope Harden plays better defense?" Well, I'm glad you asked, since there's something called a pre-switch. See how Mobley is running right by Harden here? He should be facing the other way, and when he sees OG heading up the ball screen and force a switch, Mobley should switch onto Anunoby and then pick up Brunson. Something tells me the length and quickness of Mobley would bother Brunson, like it kinda sorta did earlier in the game here. Instead, Brunson gets a 1-4 isolation with the whole court to work with, and Harden ain't stopping this in the best of times. After a timeout, you would think the Cavs coaching staff would have made some sort of adjustment. Besides pre-switching, you could try a zone or blast the ball so Brunson would be forced to get rid of it. Based on Harden's pointing here, it looks like the plan was to simply have Wade stay on the ball and not switch. Of course, when OG sets a screen like that, Wade cannot get around. But watch this. OG wanders into the corner where Shamet was already standing. This should be an immediate and automatic double by Wade, since Mitchell can effectively guard two players with such poor spacing. Nothing at all happens, and they basically let him shoot a floater to cut it to 8. This was getting ridiculous, as the amount of space between Brunson and Bridges is wide enough that Wade could easily have stepped through it and stayed glued to Brunson. Wade absolutely should have left Bridges, knowing he's got Mobley and Allen backing him up in good weak side position in order to run at Brunson and force him to give it up. Instead, Brunson treats us to one of the more exciting three-pointers he's hit, and he's already hit a ton of high-pressure clutch baskets from deep in his not-so-long career. A couple of weird things happen, like Scott Foster running in to call a pretty weak foul on Sam Merrill, although he does appear to grab the arm of OG, but I just don't think he was getting that ball anyway. Here's the adjustment they finally did make. Watch how Merrill is now playing along the side of Brunson, not allowing him to use the screen at all, with Harden essentially in drop coverage to make sure he doesn't get a straight line drive to the hoop. While it did force Brunson to give it up, it relies on something Harden might be the worst at: closeouts, and they're forced to foul OG and put him on the line for 2 points. They did it better on this possession so they can gently double Brunson as a contain, and now Donovan Mitchell is rotating earlier to take away the OG drive out top. However, Harden fails with the one thing he's supposed to do: stay between Brunson and the basket. While Bridges has been shooting okay from 3 in the playoffs, I don't think the expected field goal percentage of a 6-dribble, cross-court, ISO, step-back, heavily contested from Mobley 3 would be very high at all, but give him credit for one of the biggest shots of the game. Notice the adjustment the Knicks make to prevent Mitchell from rotating to the top early by putting their shooter on the left side of the floor in the corner, forcing Mobley towards the baseline, and they're right back to the OG drive versus Harden's closeout. But the most foolish mistake of the game might have been Cat grabbing Allen's arm, negating a number of potentially open shots and giving the ball back to the Cavs. Now I think this was the game right here. Instead of turning the tables and hunting Brunson like they hunted Harden, they run the ball screen with Cat. And while I can't really argue an open 12-footer in the lane from Mobley, it's a make or miss league, and they were getting layups when attacking Brunson. This then sees Brunson almost get in trouble as he brings it up and meets a pretty smart double team way up high in the half court. I would have probably kept it on and forced him to give it up to OG out top, but Harden does the one thing you can't do: needlessly help one pass away off the strong side corner, and this shot is like a practice 3. No surprise that goes in to cut it to 3. What was frustrating with this possession is that Brunson is guarding Merrill, a prime matchup to get involved with the pick and roll, and instead they run it at Cat again, and Mitchell tosses one up that he easily blocks, making Cat look like a terrific defender when he's not. Again, Mobley is just standing there. He should switch with Harden now and be the guy defending Brunson on a switch. I cannot believe, after the success they had with chasing Brunson to negate the screen, that Merrill would run smack dab into this ball screen, but here we are. And here's the double team people were clamoring for. Now it's a 2-on-1 with the most extreme spacing you're going to see. To do this, your rotations have to be pristine. Instead, you've got both Mitchell and Harden running to the ball. You can imagine whose fault this is, and that extra delay meant no one would be anywhere near Shamet for the game-tying shot, even if they got a lucky bounce. But this made me throw up my hands, as we see the ridiculously bad spacing by the Knicks in this left corner, and yet no one went over there to help Harden on the isolation. With the struggle to not only get high-quality looks, but to even have proper focus on who to attack, it was head-scratching that a timeout wasn't called to get organized. You're not catching the defense out of position on a long rebound or anything. This is after a make. So use one of the 2 timeouts left. That said, I doubt they could have gotten anything better than this shot, and I've never heard Mike Breen get a bang halfway out of his mouth before pulling it back.
In and out! That one halfway down!
But the damage was done. The Cavs were shell-shocked, and they could get nothing going in the overtime as the Knicks rode the momentum to a win going away. This game literally made it look like the Cavs were going to win the whole series and rip the Knicks' heart out while they were at it. But in a heartbeat, the Knicks might have just done the same to the Cavs, but worse.